In lesson 9.6, we're going to interpret some graphs. So we're just going to start with an example. Nancy took a round-trip walk from home. The graph relates her time and her distance from home. What can you tell about the trip from the graph? So the first and third portions, let's scroll up a little bit here. They redrew the graph below, so I'm just going to scroll down. Okay. The first and third portion, so that's this, the first and the third portions of the graph appear to have the same slope, disregarding the sign, meaning one's going up and one's going down, but they seem to have the same angle to them. This means that Nancy's speed would be the same in both directions. The horizontal line indicates that her distance from home did not change for 1 minute. That means that she stopped walking for 1 minute, because she's not getting any farther from home or closer to home. So let's label what's happening. In this first part of the graph here, where it's going up, her distance from home is getting higher, meaning that she's walking away from home. And she's doing that for, let's see, this would be 5. So for 5 minutes. That's an R. Okay, then here, then she's stopped for 1 minute. And then she starts, her distance from home is getting smaller, which means that she's walking back home. Ooh, yuck. Back home for 5 minutes again. Okay, so that's all we're doing. So now in quick check number 1, you're going to take a look at that graph. You live 6 blocks from school. The graph at the right shows your walk home on a sunny day. Describe what the graph shows. So just say what's happening. You're going to break the graph up into little intervals here. So say what's happening at this part of the graph. Then what are you doing for this amount of time? What about here and what about here? What is happening at each of those different parts? So there should be 1, 2, 3, 4 parts to your answer. So try that quick check, and when you're ready, move on to the next part. Okay, now we're going to graph some data from a chart here. Souvenir mugs are on sale. You can buy 1 mug for $6, which they filled in, 2 mugs for $10, 3 mugs for $15, or 4 mugs for $18. Graph the data. Do not connect the points in the graph. So the number of mugs is going to go on the bottom, because again, first column goes on the bottom, and the second column goes on the side. So 1 mug, so I go over to 1 and up to about where 6 would be, which might be up in here. 2 mugs costs $10. 3 mugs cost $15, and 4 mugs costs, $18, which would be about there. Now, each cost is for a number of whole mugs. You can't buy part of a mug, so we're not going to connect the dots, because you can't buy 1.5 mugs, so it doesn't make sense to connect the points. Okay, so now you're going to try the quick checks. In quick check number 1, you're going to sketch a graph of the situation from example 1. So that was when Nancy is walking from home. So instead of using the distance that she traveled from home, this time use her total distance traveled. So how many blocks has she walked? So label that up over time, and you'll get different numbers on the vertical part. So try your best to graph that. And then in quick check 3, you're going to do time on the bottom, because the first column goes on the bottom, number of cans goes on the side, and plot the dots for these. Okay, and we'll check your working class.